Welcome to A Pair of Bookends, the book club you can carry anywhere. I'm your host, Hannah MacDonald, and I'll be bookending the conversation with some of the most exciting voices from the bookish world. Hello and welcome to Books to Screen, the mini-series where I invite bookish guests to join me for deep dives into my favourite topic, adaptations. For today's episode, I'm thrilled to be joined by Emily Goulding. Emily studied English at the University of York and completed an MSc in Modern Literature at the University of Edinburgh. Emily briefly worked for Waterstones and then went on to start her career in the publicity department of HarperCollins before moving on to Hodder and Stoughton. Emily now works for Pushkin Press as their publicity manager and runs the Bookstagram account at Things That I've Read. Emily also writes book reviews for publications including TLS and the Irish Times. I will include links in the show notes for the above. For this series, Emily came to me with an unusual request for an episode, The Secret History, which famously, after numerous attempts, has never successfully been adapted for screen. The Secret History was published in 1992 and was the debut novel of Donna Tartt, a campus novel that's a whodunit more than a whodunit. It has achieved huge global success. In 2022, it was reported that it had sold more than 2.3 million copies in English alone and has been published in 40 languages. It has gone on to reach further popularity in recent years via TikTok for its dark academia aesthetic. So how has such a successful book been unsuccessful in getting an adaptation off the ground? Let's get into it. Welcome, Emily, to A Pair of Bookends.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on, and I am your first podcast.
Oh my god, taking my podcast virginity.
I
can't wait.
Honoured.
Yeah,
I love
so
this so much, and I have been such a fan of your Bookstagram account. You always have the best recommendations, so I knew that I could trust your taste, and you got me to read for the first time my first Donna Tartt. You got me to read The Secret History, so thank you.
God. And that's such an honour for me. Like, it's a book that I'm always just pressing into people's hands. Whenever anyone's like, "Oh, what should I be reading?" I'm always like, "The Secret History, pick it up." Like,
I love that so much because it's so scary, because when there's those big books that you've not come across before, you've not got into, and you always feel a bit left behind, it feels so scary to take that step and go for it, because you're like, well, so many people love it. What if I don't? Like, what if I'm the one that hates it?
I also sometimes have it with a book where when loads of people are talking about it, and I guess maybe not so much with The Secret History because it's been out for ages. Yeah. But like sometimes when a book is really big in the moment and loads of people are recommending it, I'm kind of like, I don't want to read it now. Like, too many people are talking about it.
Too many people have loved it.
Yeah, I had it last summer with The Bee Sting, which is obviously incredible. But
I've still not got to that, yeah.
It's so good. Everyone was recommending it to me, and I was like, I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it. And then I read it, and I was like, wow, that was fantastic.
But it's a big book, isn't it? So it's taking that, It's scary because you're like, that is such an undertaking to go into that. Whereas like this, I've flown through this, and I was telling Emily before we started recording that I've got 100 pages left, but I have an awareness of the ending. I feel like to have got to this point without having it massively spoiled is quite an achievement, but there was no way to completely avoid spoilers.
The final 100 pages nuts. I remember my mum gave me her copy of The Secret History. That's how I first read it. And then I have a sister who's 20, and I've been recommending it to her for years and years and being like, read it. And she always she'd sometimes start a little bit of it and then stop. And a couple of summers ago we went away and I was like, okay, this is your time to read it. And she was reading it, and then she got to, I don't know, maybe the final 50 pages, and she was like, I'm actually having to leave the house and go for a walk and put this book down and then come back to it because I'm just feeling so stressed.
Oh, I'm devastated. I've not finished it yet. I will be finishing it today, but it was just an impossible challenge. But I'm so excited, and it's also one of the things that you're like, I'm enjoying this so much that like I don't want to just speed through it. Like I want to actually take my time
for it. Yeah.
But I did say that I this is actually my first recording for the Books to Screen series, but this will be the second episode. But what I want to do at the start of these episodes is do a quick fire round on the subject of adaptations. So are you ready, Emily?
I feel quite scared, but I am ready.
This is not a test. This is a lot of stuff is like your choices. So you cannot get this wrong. Ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, first up, best adaptation in your opinion.
Oh my god, I'm struggling already. There are so many. I love the recent adaptation of My Brilliant Friend because I know Elena Ferrante had a lot to do with that, and I also really love the TV adaptation of Series of Unfortunate Events. I think the movie adaptation not good. The TV adaptation where they give like 2 episodes to every book, sublime.
Oh my God, that's really okay. This shouldn't be, this is meant to be quick fire, but that's really interesting because I remember loving the films when I was younger. So it's really interesting you said about the TV thing. So I'll
Well,
have to try that.
I did quite like the film when I was young, but it's like what 3 books in one film, and then I used to love the books so much. I remember always
Yeah,
going to get them out from my library, so I was always annoyed that there weren't more
more.
films. Yeah, and then I loved how kind of close they stayed to the subject material in the TV show, and also I preferred Neil Patrick Harris.
So fair.
Oh,
So
yeah,
fair, actually. Yeah. Best character casting.
I know. Hugh Grant as Daniel Cleaver and Bridget Jones.
Oh my God, a banger. Yeah.
Took all the
100%.
gods there.
That is actually an excellent,
I know.
excellent choice. An adaptation you'd love to see, and it can't be The Secret History.
Oh, that's a good question. I think. Oh, do you know what I would really like to see an adaptation of? Is this book that I read last year called Chlorine by Jade Song.
Oh, I've not read this.
Oh, it's so good. It's a novel about this girl who takes part in like competitive swimming at high school, and she is kind of struggling with her gender identity, and she also has this very creepy coach. And there's a lot of kind of like magic realism and like slight body horror in there. There's like this idea that she's kind of turning into a mermaid as she's like kind of like working out who she is and her gender identity. And I think that would be really cool. I'm always really interested in stuff
Yeah.
to do with swimming, and I think it translates very well to the screen because
Yes.
like swimming pools are so like kind of cinematic almost.
Do you know, you just reminded me that I thought for two books that have that sort of similar vibe, Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield
Yeah, that would be really
and
cool.
Shark Heart by Emily Harbeck. Have you read
Oh, I
that?
haven't read that, no.
Oh my God, it's so good. If you loved Our
Wait,
Wives
let
Under the
me
Sea,
write
it's
it
a
down,
similar
yeah.
vibe,
Okay,
but it's really good. Yeah, it's called Shark Heart.
so
But both of those would be amazing on screen,
okay.
if they could get it right. Do
Yeah, I think
you
that's the thing.
do you read before you watch?
Yes, like almost all the time. My mum's a big reader, and from a young age, she was always. I think sometimes I'd want to go and see a film or something, and she'd be like, "We've got to read the book first."
I love
Because
that.
I think 9 times out of 10, the book is better than the film.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
it's
100%, yeah. And also I think that if you see the film or the TV show ever first, you only imagine the characters as those actors.
yeah.
Whereas reading first gives you the power to kind of like imagine who you want and create
Mm.
someone in your mind a bit more.
But do you know what's interesting is my favorite Sally Rooney book is Conversations with Friends, but my like favorite adaptation was Normal People, and I would go as far to say that like Normal People is as good as the book, if not like the adaptation could even be like even more of a
Yeah.
favorite for me than the book.
Also, I think that the adaptation from Normal People came at such a time. Do you remember it came over COVID and we were all like locked
Oh my
inside our
God, we were all
houses? Like,
delirious.
yeah, it
It
was what
got
we
us.
needed. It
You're
made us
so
feel like even more sad, but yeah.
you're so right. An author you think would write a great screenplay.
I think it's got to be someone with like really good dialogue.
That's true, yeah. Or someone whose books feel like really cinematic and like.
She obviously wouldn't be able to write a screenplay RIP, but Shirley Jackson. Oh,
Yeah, you know what? I'll let you have that.
she would have been great. Like
R.I.P. Shirley, you'd have been great.
RIP Shirley Jackson. I think I don't know how she'd have felt about the Haunting of Hill House adaptation,
Oh my God, yes.
which I really liked, but actually that's something where I hadn't read the book before I saw the
Right.
TV show. And then I watched the TV show, loved it, showed it to my mum, and she was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, but yeah, the book is so kind of cinematic, like, and so creepy.
Oh my God. I've got it on my shelf, but again, another one I've not read.
Brilliant.
So
You get
I
through it
need
so
to.
quickly, but like, yeah.
Well, I was supposed to read it this Halloween and then just didn't. So I feel like,
Okay.
oh well, I've got to wait till next year.
Yeah.
An upcoming adaptation that you're excited for.
I'm excited to see Hamnet.
Yes.
I'm sure that that's what everyone will say. I am excited to see Hamnet. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, but I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm not sure about this, but I just want to see it. It's got
Um,
really good reviews.
yes,
So
I mean, it looks incredible, and I
yeah,
really trust those actors.
yeah, same.
Also another one that I haven't read, but I am getting to that next because I'm like, I have to have
Yeah.
read this before I watch it. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one. Also, just
Hamnet,
love Paul Mescal, so
well, that's got although like because he's obviously not Irish in this, and
he's
I
not.
it is really he has like a British accent. I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
whoa, cool. But Hamnet was another thing that I read over lockdown, and I remember I was staying with my boyfriend at the time, and I ordered Hamnet, and it arrived, and I was like reading it and crying, and he was like, he didn't really read. He was like, oh, like should you be reading something if it's like upsetting you? And I was like, yeah, I should.
Yes.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
I should.
normal. Yeah,
This is therapy, thank you.
yeah, exactly. This is normal people, like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Recipe for disaster.
back to back.
Let's get into your
Okay,
adaptation
amazing.
of choice today, which is The Secret History.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you where your relationship started with The Secret History, but you've kind of said that you read it quite young.
Yeah. Wait, can I just say one more thing about the quick fire questions?
Yes!
Can I give an honourable mention to an
Yes!
adaptation that I hated?
Yes!
The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. It is one of my favourite books. I don't know if you've read it.
I haven't read it, no.
It's such a scary book. It's a ghost story. You don't quite know like who the ghost is or like what's causing the haunting. It's very ambiguous, but it's so creepy. And this film came out. I was so excited for it. And they like I cannot describe to you how bad it was because they cut out every scene that made sense. So I went to go and see it with some friends. So I think I dragged to the cinema because I was like, "This is such a good book," and they left and they were like, "We don't know what happened in that film.
Oh
Like we didn't understand
no.
a single thing." And maybe that would be an adaptation that I'd be like, I'd like to see it done again.
That's
Like
so
I'm doing
fair.
it. Yeah,
You're doing it yourself.
I'm doing the adaptation. But yeah, sorry, we can move back on to the Secret
No,
History.
oh my god, I love
I just
that.
had to get that hatred out of like my
You need
system.
to, you need to,
Yeah,
and I'm absolutely stealing that for future episodes. Sorry, Emily.
that's right. Glad
I'll
I could be an
copyright you.
inspiration.
So, where I was going to ask where your relationship started with The Secret History. Obviously, you've said that it's kind of a in the family thing. Was it your mum that got you to read it?
Yeah, so my mum had a copy, and she lent it me. I think I must have been like 14 or something. We were going on a holiday, and I was like planning on book spring. She was like, "Oh, how about this one?" And I remember I read it in like 2 days and was like, "Wow, that was fantastic." But I think at the age of 14, I was like, "This is great," but I probably didn't totally like understand. I think I understood it, but I don't think I understood it, but I probably didn't understand the nuances of some bits
Yeah, fair.
in a way that you would when you read it when you're a bit older.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting though is that I kept having to remind myself while I was reading it that these are like 20-year-olds.
Yeah,
Like they don't seem like that young, but then
I
they,
know.
they do in parts, but like you do have to keep reminding yourself, no, these are actually 20-year-olds. And I also
Yeah,
think it's really interesting reading this book now. Obviously, it's set in the 80s, isn't it?
yeah.
I think it's set in the 80s.
True.
But obviously there's no like there's no social media, like there's no
Yeah,
mobiles, like they're
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah.
payphones in order to call somebody, they're going to somebody's house. Like
Yeah,
it's so crazy reading that now and going like, "Oh my God, our lives have changed so drastically that
I
like
know.
you couldn't write a book like this set now."
No, for sure.
So I really appreciated like those elements of it. I was like, this does actually add so much tension to it.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so much stuff like I know, for example, when Bunny kind of discovers the group minus Richard after they've like killed the man and stuff,
Yeah.
because he turns up at their house. That probably wouldn't happen if like he texts them being like, "I'm coming over" or something.
Yeah.
Then that obviously would make the story as good. Like it's all about the suspense.
No, exactly. What would you say that you love about it the most?
I think one of the things I love about it, and this is maybe like going back to me reading it when I was 14, is that yeah, I kind of reread it like I'd say like once a year or something. It's a very like autumnal read for me.
Do you
And
actually read it once a year?
I love it. It's such a comfort
I
read for me.
love that.
And I do think that every time you read it, you kind of pick up on more stuff because I think every time I read it, I see more stuff with Richard as an unreliable narrator, which you always know he's an unreliable narrator, but the more you read it, the more you're like, actually, like this random bit, is he just lying about that? Like,
Yeah.
because then I think, and I obviously didn't really think about this the first maybe couple of times I read it, but he's the only one who has no reason to kill Bunny.
Yeah.
All of the others are like, Bunny's gonna tell on us for killing someone. Richard's
Yeah.
just like, guys, let me join in. Like,
Yeah, he is, isn't
he's just
he?
like, I'll come along for the ride.
Yeah.
Which is so like, yeah. And then he's always being like, oh, Henry's like mega manipulative kind of thing. And like, and he's really like, oh, I'm so innocent, I am the bystander, but actually he's almost the worst of them, I'd say.
But yeah,
But
no, that's so far.
and then I think that the more you read it, his character in particular kind of develops. I like how many layers there are to it.
Yeah, for sure. And all the different reveals about each character, and you uncover more as the book goes on, because I actually controversially got to the
Yeah.
end of book one, which is obviously like part one.
Yeah, yeah,
Got to the end of that and I was like, that would have been a good book in itself. Like
yeah.
I
Me
think
for
that would be
sure. Yeah.
I think that would be a satisfying novel. I think you
Yeah.
could have left it there but and then I was like, oh, like how on earth are we going to keep going, because
Yeah.
obviously the
Like the
very
momentum.
yeah, like, and it's not a spoiler to say that Bunny dies because it's obviously in the first
That's the
page.
first page, yeah.
It's such a famous like opening. So yeah, he dies within the first page, and then obviously, like I said before, it's like a why done it? Like why have they chosen to kill this guy, not who has done it? So yeah, within the first book, I was like, you could leave it there, it would be satisfying. But then actually, as I carried on reading, I was like, but this is actually so interesting. Like the more we're uncovering about each person, and then seeing how they react under pressure in terms of
Yeah.
the FBI's investigation, in terms of how they respond to his family, Bunny's family, and at the
Yeah.
funeral, and how Bunny's family reacts to all of this, because you're like, hang about, like you've not really seen this family, but then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like the way they react is so dramatic, like his father, and you start to like notice more intricate details about each individual dynamic in
Yeah, for sure.
it's kind of wild that, like, because I'm very much not a big book person. Like I'm like, give me a 250 page, give me
Yeah.
300 pages, and I love that, I can deal with that.
I think that's a really
Anything
good length,
more
to be fair.
but
It's
like
got to be
any
good if it's gonna be a bit longer.
yeah,
Like,
but like anything more than like 400 pages and you're like, oh, like what if I
yeah.
undertake this and it's going to be really bad? But like this is a book where you're like, no, this is actually worth your time.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, and it really does do well at keeping the momentum going in a way
It
that is
does.
quite kind of unexpected. And
Yeah.
I think it probably can do that because you open with Bunny dying, so then it's not such a surprise.
Yes, that's so true.
Like,
As somebody that works in publishing,
yeah.
would it give you anxiety to have an author that takes 10 years between books? Or is it that
No, I'd be like, this
good?
is great. I'd be like, this is so good because I think obviously with Donald Trump it would be such a huge campaign. You'd be like, I need to ready myself, and then you'd also be like, it's going to be such a good campaign, like in publicity, because everyone is on tenterhooks waiting for her next book. So I'm going to
Yes.
have no problem getting any like press that I want.
Yeah, that's so
Really
true,
easy to
actually.
do. Like, if Donna Tartt started writing like a book a year or something, like people might be like, "Oh, we did an interview with her like a couple of years ago." Is the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't care if you
Yeah.
got to interview Don Tart twice.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, this is crazy that this is somebody's debut novel. Like, she started
I know.
writing this when she was
And it was
19.
it was published when she was like what, like 27, 28. Like
Yeah, so
insane.
it took her from when she was 19. They published it when she was like 28.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of insane to me.
No, it's
And
mad.
it's the only sort of, I mean, Zadie Smith was 23, was she, when White Teeth was
So
published?
yeah.
But even that, like, I just thought like this is just such a successful debut. Like it's just incredible that
I
she's
know.
managed to write
Like
this. Blows my mind.
it's the
Um,
debut.
we are overdue a new Donna Tartt.
Yeah, we
Have you
are.
heard any rumours?
I've had no rumours. Nothing.
Well, that's rude. Like, what's the point in
I
working in
know.
publishing?
Yeah. What the fuck? It's the reason I had you on the podcast so you could tell me when the new Donald Tart's coming. Actually, yeah, my source is coming out next week. Yeah, no, we are. Everyone's waiting, but I feel like there's been no word. I was actually looking the other day. Someone was like, "We'll go on Waterstones, like just type in Donna Tartt and see if there's a good like pre-order." Whatever.
But do you think that like they're just gonna like drop it at the last second? Like, do you think they're gonna be like new Donna Tartt coming out next month?
No,
Like,
there'll be no. There'll be a lovely little bookseller announcement, and then because they'll want to build buzz, there'll be so many
that's
proofs and
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it'll be such a moment. But also, I think it's hard probably having a debut that good because then I know that like people love the Goldfinch. I like the Goldfinch, but I didn't think it was as good as the Secret History. But it's
Yeah.
so hard to have something to live up to, like
Yes.
that's that good.
Well, on the Goldfinch front, the Goldfinch has been adapted. It was a
Ah,
film adaptation, which has a 24% Rotten
I
Tomatoes
know,
score.
and she hated it, didn't she?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Do you think they'll give up with the Secret History because of that, or?
I don't think there should be an adaptation. This is my take on the Secret History.
Okay, okay. Well, before we do that, we'll just take a moment on the Goldfinch adaptation.
Okay, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Why do you think it failed as an adaptation?
I mean, like, The Goldfinch is
Did
another
you
big
like
book,
it,
you know?
the film?
I didn't love it.
Okay, fair.
Like, also, I'm trying to think when that film came out in relation to Ansel Elgort's, like, sexual abuse stuff.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, that obviously didn't help.
No.
I don't think that the film.
The,
I
the
mean,
film
like,
was released in 2019, and I don't know when that all came out about him, but I feel like it could
I
have
think it
been.
was I think it must have been around the same time.
Yeah.
Like, because that was really when he was having his heyday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Was that when he did? Was it The Fault in Our Stars, or have I made that
Fault in
up?
Our Stars. Yeah, I used to love that.
I did.
Oh my god, John Green was such a like.
But yeah, why do you think it didn't do very well?
I mean, I didn't love the film. Like,
Fair.
I just don't think it was that good. I think also the thing is with Donna Tartt's writing, it's so kind of specific,
Yeah.
and it's so cinematic. But yeah, it's so specific, and if like the film doesn't kind of match it exactly. Like, I think it's I don't know. I think that Donna Tartt obviously has like super fans, like people
Yeah.
love her, and so I think that there is this huge thing around her writing, and I think with any adaptation, people aren't going to love it
Mm.
because there's so much pressure on it.
So with The Secret History, it has failed to be adapted so
Yeah,
far. There's been three
I
attempts.
think three. Yeah,
Could you tell us a little bit of what you know in terms of the failed adaptations?
yeah. Let me get my Google Docs. Okay, so in 1992, Warner Brothers acquired the rights with Alan, I think it's
Yeah.
Pakula, and he was the producer of To Kill a Mockingbird, and he
Yes.
was Oscar nominated and stuff, so great. And then Joan Didion and her husband John
Which
Gregory
is
Dunn were
insane, by
hired
the
to stay,
way.
which is insane because you'd think that like Donna Tartt, Joan Didion,
Match made in
like
heaven.
ideal, yeah. But he didn't like their screenplay, and then also he died in a car crash in 1998.
Crazy.
So that was kind of axed. Then the next thing was I actually don't know the year for this, but then the playwright Christopher Hampton, he was brought on board with the director Scott Hicks, and then like just again nothing happened with it. No car crashes this time, just like nothing happened. And then
God.
in 2002, Gwyneth Paltrow and her
Yes.
brother Jake, they made a deal with Miramax, and this was in kind of Harvey Weinstein's like
Yeah.
big Miramax age, yeah. And she was going to produce it, he was going to direct it, and there were also rumors that she was going to play Camilla. But
How
then
old was she? She would have been too old then, no?
I don't know how old Gwyneth Paltrow is now. It would have been like what, 25, 23 years ago.
Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe she
But I
could have.
but I mean we'll probably get onto it in a bit, but there are so many kind of fan casts and stuff, and they're all like people
Yes.
who are way over their 20s.
But yeah, she's 53 now, so she would have probably been like
Late 20s.
yeah, a couple of years
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. But then their father died and they dropped the plan, and the rights have since gone back to Tart. And because she wasn't happy with the Goldfinch, people think that she won't sell them again.
Yes, they have said this, that she's
Yeah.
disinclined to hand them over. But you think that there shouldn't be an adaptation?
So I kind of think there shouldn't be because I think that the Goldfinch had a lot of pressure on it, but the Secret History would have even more. And I think
Yes.
that there are all these fan casts and stuff online, and I think that no matter who they cast,
Yeah.
nobody will be happy with it. Like,
There is a lot of people that have said about Timothy Chalamet.
yeah, he's on my Google Docs. Like, everyone's like, get Timothy. But also, like, who would Timothy Chalamet be playing? Like,
That's
is
true.
he just like walking around in the background?
I think he could be maybe not Bunny.
No, maybe he could dye his hair red and he could be Francis.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but so I don't think they should. But I think that if there was,
Yes.
actually, maybe apart from Julian, who could be like someone more famous, they should all hire complete unknowns.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like they shouldn't have Timothy Chalamet or like loads of people. I always hear like Eddie Redmayne, and I'm like, he's definitely too old.
Yeah.
But they like, I think that all these like A-list names are toted around, but I think that actually what they should do if they were going to do it is maybe they could have someone like, I don't know, like Ian McKellen for Julian, and
Is
then
Julian that old?
I think Julian's quite old. Yeah,
Oh my god,
he's like.
in my head while I've been reading it, I've been thinking he's like I was envisioning like Andrew Scott.
No, I think he's meant to be quite old because they're always talking about him having white hair
Oh my
and
god,
like
of
a little elfin
course!
face. Yeah.
That just went completely over my head. Yeah,
And
I've
also
literally
because
not
there's
read
all
it that
that
way.
stuff being like, oh, he's taught like princesses and stuff. He's clearly had a bit of a checkered life.
Oh my god, I definitely
Like,
was like he's younger. Yeah,
no,
I
and
just
also because isn't it that they're always like, oh, he like accepts 1 cent payment or something. So I'm always like, he's
Yes.
old, he's rich, he's just doing this for like
That's so funny. Like,
yeah.
the way my brain just, like, shuts certain things out.
But also I think this is why it's so good to read before, because like then you get to like kind of interpret things the way you want.
Yeah.
I've seen like loads of people online like he should be like Mads Mikkelsen, but I think that the who like obviously looks quite threatening half the time. But I think that the thing with Julian is he's so like kind of everyone's so charmed by him,
Mm.
but then actually he's like not quite all
Well,
that.
I don't know if I'm gonna get some big reveal about him in the last, like, 100 pages, but I thought when he first came into the picture, I was like,
Yeah.
"Who is this guy?" Like,
Yeah.
he seems, like, really manipulative, like, why is he making them get rid of all their other classes and all their other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
teachers?
It's so
Like, there's
weird.
something dodgy there. But
Yeah.
then as it's gone on, I'm like, "Oh, does he just really care about them?" Like, I stopped
Well,
getting that
that's the thing,
vibe.
you never quite know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think, yeah, so he could be like someone famous, and then all of the students should just be like their first, this could be like their big break kind of thing.
Do you have a like ideal format for this if it was to happen? I know you've said you don't want it to happen, but if
Yeah.
it was, do you have like something in mind of like this is how it should go?
I actually think it would have to be a TV series.
I thought it should be a HBO series.
Yeah, I agree, because then it's like, because then as I was saying with stuff like Series of Unfortunate Events, you can have
Yeah.
so much more detail rather than trying to cram it all into what, like a 2 hour film.
Mhm.
I think you'd need like mini series,
Yeah.
maybe like 6 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, nice.
Maybe
I
you could
sorry,
have
I
like
was gonna say I
yeah,
do think HBO would do a good job of this, just because I was thinking
yeah,
about all the stuff that HBO have made. Like HBO did Succession, didn't they?
yeah,
They've done the morning show. Like, I just feel like in terms of the material that they
yeah, no, I
create, like
agree.
I just think that it would be in safe hands with them. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
I think that I was just saying I don't think that they should have anyone famous for the students.
Fair, okay. But you think it should be like Ian McKellen for Julian?
Yeah, I do. Out of all the fan casts I've seen, I think that's the best one. Oh yeah, and then I was saying I think it could be like 3 or 4 episodes for like book one, 3 or 4 episodes for book two kind of thing. Like you could split it quite nicely.
Yeah, that's true actually. How do you think they'd split it then if it was episodic? How would they do book one and book two? Do you think they do like the first half of the series and then the second half of the series?
Well, I wouldn't want to have to wait between parts of the series.
Got
Like,
you. Okay.
although no, actually, I think they should bring it out week by week, because I
Nice.
always miss it when places would do that. That
Yeah.
that's actually not to do with the secret history. That's just because I like watching things week by week.
No, that's so fair. It
Yeah,
is a nice thing to get to do, and I feel like we like binge stuff far too often now, and it's nice to actually have
yeah.
that delayed gratification.
And
Um
also, I remember feeling so excited when I was younger, being like, "Oh my god, it's like Friday night. This show's
yeah.
gonna be on."
Getting really hyped for something to come out.
Yeah.
I've been watching I started watching it at the start of the year and the new series is about to come out, The Pitt, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's another HBO one, and that isn't actually out in the UK, so don't ask me how I got hold of this, but it's
Oh
so
no.
good. And it's a medical drama, and it is each season is one whole shift. So
Okay.
every episode is 1 hour in that shift at the
Oh,
hospital.
that's so cool.
And then, but then you're getting that on a weekly basis. And
Yeah.
often it's left on a cliffhanger because you're like, oh, well, has that person that they're operating on died? Like, what's happened here? Like,
Yeah.
and it's in America. So obviously, like, anything can happen, obviously the gun laws and stuff there, like there's like so much more room for like chaos in a medical
Yeah.
setting that it really lends itself well. So I do love that week by week thing, and I think this would be really good for that. And there isn't a lot of opportunity for cliffhangers with this if it was an episodic thing.
Yeah. No, for
um
sure.
I think so. What parts of this do you feel are, if it was to be adapted, what parts of it do you feel are kind of crucial that they get right? All of it.
Because I think that there, like I said, there are such super fans. I think the people doing it would have such a hard job, because they'd get like one thing, they'd cut out like one sentence, and everyone would be like, "How could you do this? Like, you've ruined it."
That's so true,
Um,
yeah.
I think the things that they'd have to get really right are the kind of quite complex relationships. I think also, I mean, maybe this is another reason that it would be quite hard to
Mm,
do an adaptation, because part of the like real excellence of the book comes from Richard's unreliable narration, and it's quite hard
yeah.
to get that in like a screen adaptation in the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I was thinking this yesterday, like how, like would they have to get somebody to narrate the
Yeah.
series? Do you think they would?
Maybe they could have Donna Tartt narrating it, like, because you know how she does the audiobook.
Oh my god, how good would that be?
She's just like snippets of her voice kind of coming in. She's got such a cool voice as well.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. I didn't even think of that. I was just
Yeah.
thinking of like the actor that played. Oh my god. Can you imagine how crazy the fans would go if like she did
I
that?
know. Do you know, I actually, because I know that she doesn't do like much press or anything, so I know
Yeah.
she wouldn't do this. But you know how in like some adaptations they have a random cameo of the author.
Oh my god, yes.
The adaptation, but Donna Tartt is actually being Julian, and she's just like in a white room.
She's Mrs. Corcoran. Corcoran? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah,
Bunny's
yeah, yeah.
mum.
This is Corcoran. Yeah.
Bunny's mum. I think
She's like,
she's too
she's like,
cool.
I know, she's like the registrar or
Yeah.
something. She's Judy Poovey.
Oh my god, yeah.
But
Oh my god, she'd be so good.
she'd be
I
so
also
great.
think that the like sort of drug adult scenes would be difficult for somebody to portray on screen. Like when they have these like really big
Yeah.
trips. I think that would look so cool on screen though if they
Yeah,
got it
they almost
right.
have to do like POV for that. Like,
Yes. Like
yeah.
the when they reflect back on when the man died in the woods,
Yeah.
like and they all have like different ideas of
Differing.
how that happened and
Yeah.
obviously they realize after the fact that like, you know, they all have these very different, you know, they all
Yeah.
saw very different things in that moment. Like that would be so interesting to see play out on screen, I think.
Yeah, for sure. If like this TV show ever, it would use so many flashbacks.
Yeah, it would.
Like nothing would use flashbacks like this adaptation would use flashbacks.
That's so true, actually. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you think maybe they could do something like, you know how I can't remember what series I've seen this happen in, but sometimes in series they do like each episode is from a different character's perspective.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, what's the TV? Oh, it was The Girlfriend that I watched.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
half
Yeah.
the episode from the girlfriend's
Yeah.
perspective, half the episode from the mother's perspective.
Yeah. And
And
the
I think that was
film,
such a clever way of doing it.
the horror film, what's it called? Weapons. And they
I
went
haven't
through
seen that.
each. Oh my god, they went through in that each character's perspective,
Yeah,
and it was really cool. So I think with this, like, I think it could
that would be
work.
cool. Yeah.
But then would people be
But
annoyed because
but then you could only really have it for that one episode, I think, where they were like dealing with the murder in the woods, and then
mm,
I don't know, it would be quite cool though.
but then yeah, it's too much of a slow reveal of what we learn about each characters that I guess if you did it from their POV, it
Yeah,
wouldn't give us too much. And I feel like it's more interesting when we're like, what is going on with like, you know, with Charles and Camilla, like what is going on
yeah,
with them? I also find really funny those characters' names, I'm just gonna say.
I
And I was
know, I
listening to
know.
an episode of BBC Radio 4's Book Club podcast
Yeah,
yesterday, and they interviewed her in like 2014, and they asked her about those names, and she was like, "Oh, the news of them only broke like the year this came out or something."
that's so funny.
And I just thought, like, God, how crazy is that as like a time capsule?
I
Um,
know.
but also her publisher, her US publisher had said to her like, oh, it was like giving there was like some list of like most popular names of the year, and her
Yeah.
like publisher came to her and was like, oh my God, like they've taken two of your characters' names and said like it's two of the most popular names of the year,
Oh
and then
my
it
god,
came out they're
there's
like,
some
no,
secret too.
it's nothing to do with the secret
That's so funny.
history.
It's because she didn't have a Diana in there as well. Like,
Oh my God, imagine she'd have to
yeah,
remove it.
I know. So funny.
So, we've just mentioned then about parts that you think are crucial to get right, which you've said everything. Are there elements that you think that they struggle to translate, like other things that you've thought about that?
I mean, yeah, like we said, the kind of unreliable narration, I
Yeah,
think would be hard. I think there would be some bits which, sorry, this isn't me saying what would translate well, but I think there are some bits that would be really nice, like when they go to the country house and stuff. I think that's very
yeah,
cinematic. Yeah,
yeah.
and I think even like Hampton itself would be very fun. I wonder if they could film it at Bennington College.
Well, they said, like, Donna Tartt has said that this campus is very much based on, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the campus that she was at, and it's rather than, like, I don't know what it was like for you at uni, but it was, like, very much, like, old school halls, like, you know, big flats or buildings or whatever, but, like, they had actual houses on their campus, and obviously that's what we've got in this, so,
I know, I'd want them to film there.
yeah, like it'd be so
Like,
cool to see that. And
yeah.
I also think it creates a really like cool atmosphere that like we don't really have in like UK halls, like
Yeah.
university
Where did you
halls.
go to uni?
I went to Staffordshire Uni.
Yeah, I went to York, so it wasn't very, like
It was
there were
like
no
a
old buildings, like, in my
shithole.
campus, like, yeah.
But I think it'd be really cool to like see how they would, create that campus. But
For
definitely
sure.
the country house, I think, would be such a beautiful setting. Like I'd love to see how they
Yeah.
do that. And also when they go to Bunny's family's house before the
Yeah.
funeral, and they all go in like I was really like struggling to map out this house in my head. I think because our
Yeah.
houses don't look like that.
Also, in that whole funeral bit, and it's, like, excruciating, and Henry has that really bad headache for the entire thing. I felt
Yes.
like I was getting a headache when I was reading it. I'm
Oh my
always like
God, same.
it's just like that, when you, like, go to someone's house, you're like, "I feel so uncomfortable and so, like,
Yeah.
not at home here," and I'm just, like, on edge.
Yeah.
I really felt that. I think she wrote that so well because you as a reader are like, "I wanna get out of this house now, like,
Yeah.
this is claustrophobic."
I wonder how they would communicate that on screen as well, because you do feel like these headaches that you get are like completely like debilitating.
Yeah. Well,
And
there's so much about, like, in Rich Generation being like, there are all these children just running around, like, I feel like they could really almost, like, amplify the sound in it so that you
yeah,
really thought you were immersed by, like, just these screaming children.
I mean, it would be really cool in the funeral scene for them to do like a one take situation
Oh, that would be so cool, yeah.
of like going through the house and like you being in the chaos with them, because
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right,
yeah.
like they're running through the house, they've got a load of them sleeping in the
And
basement.
when they're, like, all smoking outside as well. That
Yes.
that seems very cinematic, and I think that's very funny as well. I think that would translate well.
Yes. I also was listening to this podcast yesterday called Zero to Well Read,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how the funeral scene is almost like the only thing they can think of that has been similar on screen is have you seen The Bear?
I've seen parts of the bear.
Have you seen the Fishes episode, the Christmas one, where they're at the dinner
Think
table
so.
and like all manners of chaos kicks off and they
Oh,
like flip the
maybe I
table and
have, yeah.
it's like the table gets flipped, like the uncle launches a fork at somebody's head, the mum
Yeah.
drives the car through the house, like it's like pure, it like descends into chaos. And
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
saying that like that if it was to be on screen, like that scene would need to have like that level of chaos because that's what
Yeah.
it feels like.
And even in the church, there's so much going on, like, with the wasp flying around and stuff,
Yes.
like, yeah. It's just so kind of feverish, that section.
Yeah, it is. And also even like the police investigation when they're all like completely on edge. I feel like you feel so like anxious reading that. Like I
Yeah.
think that would be so cool seeing that on screen, when they're like looking out the window, like when the
Yeah.
ambulance comes and they're like
Yeah.
in the canteen and then they like run to see it out the window and then like everybody starts gathering and then like all the reporters are there.
Yeah.
I
And I
think that would
think
be so cool.
and I think you could have really good stuff as well about, like, because obviously, like, there's the whole snow element of the whole thing, and how the
Yes.
snow's slowly kind of melting and how that really builds up that kind of tension.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a production crew's worst nightmare. Like
No,
they'd
for
be like,
sure. Yeah,
why
yeah,
have we
yeah.
got to have so much snow?
Yeah, absolutely, like, hell.
Is there anything that we haven't mentioned that you think is worth speaking about in terms of the adaptation?
I don't think so. I think I just said it's such a cult classic, it would be hard to adapt it.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I think that we've come up with really good ideas for an adaptation.
Exactly.
Like, maybe if it's gonna have, maybe we should be the ones doing it. However, I still don't think there should be. I think I'd feel a bit sad if there was an adaptation because it's like
Fair.
almost like the end of like your imagination in a way.
Yeah,
You're like,
that's so
oh,
fair.
this is someone deciding definitively who these characters are and what they look like.
Yeah, like I'm not a massive rereader, but if I went back to reread Normal People,
Yeah,
I would just have Paul
Paul
Mescal and Daisy
Mescal. Yeah,
Edgar-Jones in
that's
my
the
head.
thing.
Like, I don't think
Yeah.
there's any other way to like read it now. So I think you're right. Like, it is nice to just have that imagination there, and especially for you when you reread it every year.
Yeah, like, actually, I'm due my yearly reread. I haven't done it yet this year. I should have done it before this conversation. You keep
I feel like
breaking
you
up
know it well
talking
enough. Like, if you've read it that amount
yeah,
of times, it's like you don't
yeah,
really have to refresh your memory.
it's true.
But I absolutely loved reading this, and I'm so glad that you brought this to the table because I genuinely, when you messaged me, I was like,
Yeah.
how are we going to make this work? But I feel like we've done a
I
good
think we
job,
were, because
and I
I
feel
think
like we
there's
could be
just so
trusted with
much
it.
to walk around in adaptation.
100%. And I do think that we could be put in charge if.
I think we could. I think the only reason that I would want it to be adapted is so that they could do some filming in Bennington College. Have you
Can
listened
we
to the
come?
Yeah, have you listened to the podcast Once Upon a Time Bennington College?
No.
Oh my god, it's so good. So it's this like reporter, and she goes to Bennington College and she like finds kind of like the people who the characters were based on.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
Stop. I actually need to go
Yeah.
and listen to this now.
It's really great, and she does a real deep dive into like how Donna Tartt was there and stuff. She was there at the same time as Bret Easton Ellis.
Oh my
Like, yeah,
God. It's
it's
just
really great. You
insane.
should listen to it.
I also heard that Bret Easton Ellis, just on a random aside,
Yeah.
said like had read like the first draft and said there wasn't enough sex in it for their age and like for the fact that they're at uni. Well, he read he read the first half and said there's not enough sex like for what these for what age they are, for the fact that they're on campus, like they would be
Yeah.
at it a
But
lot. And
yeah,
then
but
in
then
the
it's
book
like they're so
two,
removed. Yeah.
but in book two, she's clearly taken on that feedback.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and has gone a bit more into it, but I just don't think that it's like, I read certain books and think, oh, you kind of need it here, but for this I didn't feel like it
I
was
don't think they
needed.
do. Yeah.
No, I
Because
think
it's
what we
also
get is
kind of so
enough.
surreal. Yeah.
Yeah. As well, the moment where Charles has Bunny, no, not Bunny, Jesus, Richard has gone to get Charles from prison and
Yeah.
brings him back, and he goes for a
And then he
bath.
kisses Camilla, yeah.
He kisses Camilla and he's got the bathrobe
I,
open.
oh my, I remember when I first read that being like shocked. And I still am shocked every time I read it, but it's such a kind of twist.
It's such a good scene.
It's such a good
Like,
scene.
oh my God. And I would love to see that on screen. Like, I feel like that would be as shocking on screen as, like,
Oh no, 100%. Because
like,
they could really do it well.
yeah, it would have like the same sort of weight as like Saltburn did with certain scenes in that. But
Yeah. I think I don't want to spoil it because you haven't obviously got to the end yet. But
yes,
I also think that one of the final scenes, the kind of big climax, I
yeah.
also think that could be like a kind of one take thing.
Oh, interesting.
But let me know what you think. Message me after you finish
Okay,
it.
I will. I
And
will.
the thing I'll say is there's one scene towards the end, and it's between Julian and Henry and Richard, and I can actually barely read it sometimes.
Really? Oh, okay. I can't wait to get to that part.
Because it's so like nail biting and horrible.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
really excited. I do feel like a
Yeah.
one take situation would really work with so many parts of this
Yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah. I so agree.
It needs to happen.
Maybe Bunny going off the cliff could be one take as
Oh
well.
my God. Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine nailing that in one take. My God.
So good.
So ultimately, you don't want them to touch this.
Ultimately, I think no, unless it's just us two doing it.
Great. We've
But
got
maybe,
great
maybe
ideas.
we're just going to Bennington College instead. I don't know.
Let's do it. Should we just go for a writer's retreat at the country house?
Fantastic. Yeah.
Prep the film.
Can you drive? Because I can't. But we
Yeah,
could rent
great.
a car. Okay, great. Great.
Let's do
Well
it.
done.
So lastly, I want to finish how I always finish the podcast by asking for a recommendation. Now, if you want to recommend an adaptation, you can. If you want to recommend a book, this is a books podcast. Feel
Oh my
free.
God.
We are at the end of the year, so if there is
Okay, so
favourites.
do we think a book like coming out in the new year or a book that is already out?
It's your choice.
Oh my God. Okay.
You can even rattle off a couple if you want to.
Wait, I'm just gonna go on my notes page and look at what. Sorry.
The pressure's too much.
I know. Oh, okay. So a book that I loved, which is coming out next year. I want to say it in
Yeah.
May.
Amazing.
Is Frida Slattery as herself by Anna Kinsella.
I've heard this is great.
It's so good. It starts off in Dublin 2006, and a kind of aspiring actress, Frida Slattery, meets this director who's just beginning to make a name for himself, John Redden, and they're instantly close. And it takes them over, I think, 15 years or so, like across the world.
I'm
And
already
sometimes
sold.
they're working together, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're like together, sometimes they're not. But it's so good, and it's structured like the structure is through the plays that they do together,
Oh my God.
which is great and I think so clever. And then a book that I read this year, which is out already, is I'm gonna have a couple. One is The Tower by Taya Lenarduzzi, and it's so good. It's really small. You'd love it. It's a Fitzcarraldo, and it's non-fiction, but it really reads like a fairy tale.
Oh
It's
my
all
God.
about the author. Her husband tells her this story one day, and he's like, "Oh, when I was younger, we used to go on a walk like as children, and there was this tower that we'd always pass, and we heard that there was like a girl there who'd been locked up when she was ill, kind of thing." And so she really does this deep dive into this story and finds out what happened to this girl, kind of thing. And
Oh
it
my
is quite
God.
fairy tale-y. That's really cool. And then God, the other one I'm about to recommend is non-fiction as well, and I never used to read that much non-fiction, but this year has been it for me.
Love
Um,
that.
yeah, the other one is Swimming Studies by Leanne Shapton. I'm coming back to with the swimming, and it's this memoir about swimming and about art, and it's really fantastic, and it's out with Dawn Books.
Oh my God, what banging recommendations. I knew you'd be a great guest. We're gonna have you back.
What's your favourite book you've read this year?
Oh my God, okay, so well, actually, the episode will have gone out by now that I've done my top 5 books.
Yeah.
I loved Heart the Lover by Lily King, and I
I
feel
haven't
like,
read that, but I really want
oh my
to.
God, I think I don't really cry at books. I cry a lot at
Yeah.
TV and film and like visual stuff, but with books for some reason I don't really cry, but this book made me cry.
Okay.
So it's so powerful, it's so moving.
I've I've heard that it's a sequel to, is it Writers and Lovers?
It's a prequel and a
Oh, a
sequel.
prequel. Okay. Have
Yeah,
you read
it's
Writers and Lovers? Because I haven't, and I'm
yes.
wondering if I should read it before. Okay.
I think you could read it as a standalone, honestly.
Okay, interesting.
But it is a prequel and a sequel. But I feel like so many people have said this now that it's not really a spoiler to say it, but like the
Yeah.
reveal that it is that isn't until like late in the book.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting to know. Maybe I'll pick it up.
yeah, it is really, really good. And I'm not like one of the only people recommending that. Finding Grace by Loretta Rothschild. Have you read that?
I haven't heard of that one.
That genuinely has one of the best opening chapters I've ever read. Like
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you think it's going in one direction and then it just totally throws you. Like the final
Okay,
line of that
interesting.
first chapter, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like how can
Okay.
this book continue? So that's all I'll say on that. But like definitely
Okay.
give that
I'm
a
excited.
chance.
Yeah,
And
okay, I'll do
it's
it.
not a big book either, so like you'll fly through that.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
let me know what
great.
you think.
Yeah.
But
Exciting.
I have absolutely loved this, Emily. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
my first guest on my Books to Screen mini-series.
Yeah.
And for the listeners, you can find Emily at Things That I've Read. I will link that in the show notes. You also are publicity manager, aren't you?
I am publicity manager, yeah.
Are there a couple of books that you want to shout about, or is that too much?
Oh my God, yeah, no, absolutely. So next year's really exciting for the literary fiction girls, and the
We
boys
love
as well.
this.
We have, so in February we have a really great book coming out called The Age of Calamities by Senna Ahmed, and it's a collection of short stories kind of reimagining alternate feminist history. So the first story in the collection sums it up really well. So it's Henry VIII and he's killing Anne Boleyn, and every evening he kills her, and every morning she's just there having breakfast.
Oh my
And they're
God.
really funny, they're really cool. There are some about Joan of Arc, the Romanov sisters, like it's
This
fantastic.
sounds so good.
Yeah, then in June we have The Book of Mysteries by Rebecca Tamash, and it's non-fiction and it's all about kind of UK rituals. It's a memoir about her over the space of a year while she's dealing with some grief, going all around the UK and kind of exploring rituals and how people connect, especially in the face of like the climate crisis and stuff and everything going on in the world, how people really find solace in these kind of quite natural things, and that's really great as well.
Oh my God, that sounds great. I can't wait to get my hands on those. Thank you so much, Emily, for
Thank you.
coming on. Thank you for such a quirky choice of adaptation. But
Lack of adaptation.
I actually think that it would be kind of iconic now if we just go off and create this ourselves.
We can live stream it.
Great, perfect.
Yeah,
Let's do
collab
it.
holiday. I'll say, Christian, please can we expense this? Don't do it on the actual podcast.
And if listeners, if you have any ideas yourself, please do come and let us know. You can find Emily at Things That I've Read, as I've already said, and you can find me at A Pair of Bookends Pod on Instagram and at Pair of Bookends on Twitter and TikTok. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to rate, review and subscribe, and we will see you for the next instalment of Books to Screen. But thank you so much, Emily.
I had the best time.
Good, and goodbye.